it's this Iran story that is so important, so critical for all of us. This is not something that is going to be a tit for tat set of attacks that lasts for a couple of days. This is war.
Yeah.
The Israelis last night killed the top four Iranian military commanders. This was exactly the same strategy that the Israelis used against both Hamas and Hezbollah. Now they've done it with Iran. The Iranian the Israeli ambassador to the United Nations this morning said that Israel's policy as of today is regime change in Iran. It's not up to the Israelis to decide who leads Iran. It's not up to the Israelis to decide who to overthrow because they don't like country A or country B's policies. But that's what they said. Now, Iran is a gigantic country, both in terms of population and in terms of area. And many of its most important nuclear and military facilities are deep underground. There's no indication, especially at Natanz, for example, the biggest nuclear facility, that the Israelis were able to damage it in any way. I will say, though, that there is a lot of footage running on Israeli television today of residential buildings on fire and civilians having been injured and killed. So this is not something Donald Trump said that the Israelis now need to, I'm sorry, the Iranians now need to negotiate a deal. There's not going to be any deal here. This is war.
Yeah,
There's
I
going to
don't.
be a winner. There's going to be a loser.
Yeah, from this to me, this looks another preemptive attack from the Israelis to try
Yeah.
and, control the narrative. I have no thought that Iran was trying to actually create nuclear weapons. I mean, I'm sure they would like to, but my understanding is they were just trying to enrich to like 5% so they could use power.
Well, the debate was they had been enriching to 30%, which they can also use for power and for experimentation. When the US pulled out of the JCPOA, the Iran nuclear deal, they decided to enrich to 67%. Now you have to get to 95% for it to be weapons quality.
Right.
So they've been enriching to 67. The Trump administration has proposed that they remain allowed to enrich up to 67, but once it's enriched, it has to be stored in the United Arab Emirates or in Oman. The Omanis aren't interested. They're happy to facilitate talks, but they don't want to be the repository for enriched uranium. But the Emiratis said that they would do it. The Iranians rejected that, and talks are slash were scheduled to resume again tomorrow morning in
Mhm.
Muscat. I would be absolutely shocked if those talks went forward because, as I said, it's war, and so everything's off the table.
Does Iran
Let
have
me add,
any?
let me add one other thing, Joe, if I
Go
may.
ahead.
The CIA over the years has published three different national intelligence estimates, and all three national intelligence estimates on the Iranian nuclear program have concluded definitively that the Iranians were not interested in developing a nuclear weapon. They
Okay.
were not, despite what the Israeli government wants us to believe. There's no intelligence to indicate that the Iranians are seeking a nuclear weapon.
Now,
Iranians are enriching uranium.
Do the
Sorry,
Iranians
go
pose
ahead.
any military real threat to the Israelis?
No, no. It's an existential threat. The Israelis, look, the Israelis have like what, 12 million people? And the Iranians have 80,
200?
90,
Oh
100
yeah,
million
100 million
people?
or something.
Yeah, but they're not even near each other. And the Iranians aren't anywhere near as advanced militarily as the Israelis are. But rather than to allow the United States to engage in negotiations that would be to the benefit of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu wants the world to believe that the Iranians were, oh, just on the brink of attacking Israel and wiping out, Israel's Jews. And that's just simply not true. There was zero indication of that.
Yeah,
None.
I
The
had
aggressor
seen.
has always been the Israelis.